Welcome to Be Still Devotions. Today we're going to do part one of our two-part devotional on Matthew chapter 24. In this chapter, Jesus is describing the end of days. He has a lot to say about it and has warnings for us as followers. So let's begin reading Matthew 24, 1 through 14 first. Then Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came up to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said to them, "Do you not see all these things? Assuredly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down." Now as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us when all these things will be, and that will be the sign of your coming, and of the end of age." And Jesus answered and said to them, "Take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. The many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come." So verses 1 through 2, Jesus prophesied that the temple will be destroyed, and it was in 70 AD, after the Romans put down another Jewish rebellion. A third temple will be built in the future, and the Antichrist will blaspheme God's name in that temple. 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 through 4 confirms that. Now, verses 3 through 5, Jesus says, "Beware of false Christs. There will be many false teachers claiming to be him. False teachers will claim he has already come invisibly, that he's the Archangel Michael, or that there's another testament about him that shows us the true way, or that he's the brother of Satan." There are many men and even women, just different false teachers, and they will claim to be Jesus and will lead many astray. Now later on in Matthew 4, Jesus gives a sign you should watch for to know when he has truly returned. Verses 6 through 8. So you're going to see wars and hear about wars. Nations and kingdoms coming against each other. And this has happened all throughout history. This happens because of the fall of the world. You'll hear of worldwide diseases, which is another way of understanding pestilence, and earthquakes from all over the places. Even just recently, I think about a week ago, maybe just a few days ago, there was an earthquake down in Indonesia again, causing tsunamis and killing many. But these are just evidences of our fallen world. The end is still a ways off. Verse 9 through 12. There will be persecution. People will kill you because you follow Jesus. All the nations will hate Christ's followers. People become offended, and they'll betray each other. They'll hate each other. I see that means a lot of conflict. I think of divided nations, conflicting ideologies, fighting each other for control. And then you'll see false prophets continue to grow in power and deceive people from following the truth. People's love will grow cold. It sounds like people are losing hope and losing trust in others. They're exhausted from the constant conflict. They just see no end in sight. Verse 13 through 14 talks about enduring to the end, that the gospel will be preached to all the world, and then the end will come. So the whole world will have to hear about Jesus before the end comes, which means our work still has a lot to be done. We must preach unto the entire world, and when that has happened, then Christ will return. Now let's read Matthew 15 through 28. All right, 24, 15 through 28. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down to take anything out of his house. And let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. For woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been seen since the beginning of the world, until this time. No, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. Then, if anyone says to you, Look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you beforehand. Therefore, if they say to you, Look, he is in the desert, do not go out. Or, Look, he's in the inner parts, do not believe. For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. So, in Matthew 24:15, it talks about this abomination of desolation. So in the newly built temple, there will occur something called the abomination that causes desolation. It is believed that it will be a combination of mocking by the Antichrist. The Antichrist will set up an image of himself and order people to worship it in Revelation 13:14 through 15. He even will declare himself to be God inside that temple. So when this happens, as we see in verse 16 through 22, when this happened, Jesus says it is time for the believers to take flight and hide. Do not hesitate or take extra time grabbing anything. Run. Jesus pities the terrible time it will be for pregnant women and nursing mothers, and winter will only make matters worse. This will be a great tribulation where those who refuse to follow the Antichrist will be killed immediately. And God has chosen to shorten these days of this tribulation for the sake of the believers, or else no one would survive it. Now verses 23 through 26. Then many false Christs will show great signs and wonders. Okay, they will try to deceive the believers. Jesus is warning us. Don't let their works trick you. They'll claim that Jesus is in the desert or in a room or anywhere else. Do not believe them. Wait for the sign that Christ is going to show. In verse 27, he talks about it. The sign Christ gives for us to know he has come is that like how lightning flashes from east to west. It is in an instant. All will see. The entire world will know at that exact moment. There will be no denying it. Now Matthew 24:29 through 35 is going to describe what this will be like when Christ returns. So let's read that now. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven, with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to another. So, continue on his return. The sun and moon will no longer give their light. This will be worldwide. No relative eclipse. The sign of Jesus will appear in the sky. We're not fully certain exactly what that means, but it's implied that the believer will know when they see it. And the followers of the Antichrist who rejected Christ will begin to mourn as Jesus appears in the clouds of heaven. They'll know their fate is sealed. They'll know that there is no hope anymore. The door has been closed. You've made your decision. The angels will sound the trumpet and all believers will gather together. Think of how triumphant the believer will feel at this time, having endured such hopeless persecution to finally see their Lord appear. Their hope and joy will be beyond description. So we'll conclude today with 29 through 31. We're going to work on verses 36 through 44 tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us at Be Still Devotions. Keep looking up. Jesus is coming soon.